What it do, H-Town, what it do? On today's show, we will discuss, is losing left tackle Laremy Tunsil really addition by subtraction? Also, we will discuss, did the Houston Texans fleece the Philadelphia Eagles for safety CJ Gardner-Johnson? And last but not least, the Houston Texans have 7 picks in this year's draft, 4 in the top 100. On what side of the ball should the Houston Texans focus heavily on? H-Town, get your listening ears ready, strap up your boots, and let's go.
Attention all operators on countdown 1. This is the final go, no go. Raptor 1. Go. Raptor 2. Go. Stage 1. Go. Stage 2. Go. Copy, go for flight. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.
They fake it to Mixon. Stroud slips, but he's still able to complete it.
Here comes Thompson. Oh! To the rim with authority. Plus the foul.
That ball's caught on the berm. Cam Smith.
Jalen Green.
On the field, Nico Collins is there. He goes up, and he's got it.
Welcome back, H-Town, welcome back. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to spend a few minutes here on Everything H-Town Sports Show. I'm your dreadhead host, Hot Topic TB, and like always, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, hit that notification bell so you can get the latest flames that your boy drop about your Houston Texans, your Houston Astros, and your Houston Rockets. But on to the topic at hand, baby. We got Texans to talk about. We have to talk about all the flurry of moves that's been going on since the legal negotiating period started. It's been a lot going on, and Nick Caserio and the Houston Texans have stole the show on multiple days nationally. Some believe it was idiotic what we did. Some believe it was great what we did. But I think a lot of people with localized lenses believe the Houston Texans made a good move by trading left tackle Laremy Tunsil. Left tackle Laremy Tunsil, true enough, has a great pass blocking, pro football focused grade, because that's what he focused on. He focused on what the national media thinks about his pass blocking. He focused on Laremy Tunsil and what is going to get Laremy Tunsil paid. I'm not saying Laremy Tunsil is not a bad player. He's a Pro Bowl player, a multiple Pro Bowl player. But Laremy Tunsil is probably on the back end of his career. He's turning 30, which that position can age well, especially what Laremy Tunsil does, because he don't get in the muck, he don't get physical, he don't put boys on their butts, he don't pancake block. He is more of a finesse left tackle. The reason why he gets so many penalties because he's always trying to get a better jump on the D end. He's trying to move first so he can be in better position so he doesn't get beat. And that's what causes Laremy Tunsil to get multiple penalty after penalty. So, like I said, everybody all around the world, oh, Texas got fleeced. Y'all some idiots. Y'all traded the Pro Bowl. Man, look here, man. How many good teams move on from good players that are trying to be great teams and still continue to be great? Nick Caserio comes from an organization called the New England Patriots, who was on top for at least 20 years. And I know it's a guy called Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a guy who held it all together and was the glue and was the brains, along with Bill Belichick, along with Nick Caserio. Nick Caserio was actually the personnel guy without having the title. So he found and brought the pieces around the tight ends, the wide receiver, the slot guys. He brought this talent around Tom Brady and put this talent around Tom Brady. Nick Caserio has been in his business for 20 plus years. So Nick Caserio was not an idiot. He understood what was at hand, and having left tackle Laremy Tunsil in this offensive line room with new coaches was not going to work, because Laremy Tunsil was not going to listen or be able to intake what these coaches are trying to teach him, because he feel like, look, I'm that guy. I'm that dude. I'm that $20 million a year left tackle. I've been to 4 or 5 Pro Bowls or whatever, excuse me. Laremy Tunsil was not going to be able, and then a lot of those guys, the younger guys, were following his ways. Laremy Tunsil didn't show up to OTAs or he didn't show up to anything that wasn't mandatory. He wasn't going to be out there in the muck with his guys getting ready for this season. He did not have that type of leadership. So I don't know. It's a false narrative that the national media is creating that he was just some type of rah type of leader for this whole team when he wasn't. He wasn't out here doing what he needed to do to be the leader of this O-line and get these guys in check. We have a young second round pick in Juice Shrugs. We have a 6th round pick in Patterson. We have a 2nd round pick in Fisher. Like, he was not the leader of these guys. And all Titus Howard seemed to do is follow the leader. He was following everything Laremy Tunsil did. He even started to dress like him, wear the earrings like. So Titus Howard, before he came, was a guy that was willing to do anything that the team needed. And then he started, getting on X or getting on Twitter and talking about he's a right tackle, he's this, he's that, this, that, and the third. He started pulling the same thing that Laremy Tunsil was doing. Every time a left tackle get a contract in the league, Laremy Tunsil put up the emoji eyes. Like, every 2 or 3 years, he wants a new bag, and the Houston Texans just could not continue to do that. I like Laremy Tunsil. He's a good player, probably a good person, probably a good teammate, but Laremy Tunsil is for Laremy Tunsil. He always talk about how he negotiated the largest contract for a left tackle twice on his own. Laremy Tunsil is for Laremy Tunsil. So everybody in the national media or outside these Houston Texans lenses needs to understand that we like Laremy Tunsil. We're not idiots, but we also know, what Laremy Tunsil brought to the table. Laremy Tunsil was going to get himself to a Pro Bowl, but it wasn't gonna affect the team. It wasn't gonna help the team. It was gonna help his pockets, but it wasn't gonna help the team. Laremy Tunsil wasn't going to do what he had to do to go out his way to help this team be successful. He was going to only do what made his pockets fat, what made him get the bag. So, like I say, man, I like Laremy Tunsil. I wish him the best. He's protecting another young quarterback out there. But with the guy who everybody said, oh my God, y'all had a bad offensive line and you let your best offensive lineman go. He was part of that bad offensive line, even though he was the best offensive lineman. Dude, the man was the most penalized in the National Football League, and he's supposed to be a Pro Bowl guy. That just don't make sense. So that's my feeling, and that's my thoughts about Laremy Tunsil, H-Town. I like him. The guy is a good player. He is a Pro Bowl guy. He is a good finesse left tackle. But as far as being the complete package at left tackle, Laremy Tunsil wasn't it. H-Town. Did the Houston Texans actually fleece the Philadelphia Eagles? The world may never know. But in my opinion, I don't believe it was a fleece because, you hear little rumblings about that the Eagles were kind of unhappy with CJ. They was happy with the production, but I guess behind the scenes stuff, we don't know because we're not in that locker room. And they say CJ could be somewhat of a firecracker type guy, outspoken type guy. How many guys are going to be like that if you're alpha? Pretty much all of them. But to me, it was a low-key fleece, man. We send a guy in Kenyon Green who was a first-round, 15th overall pick. So he does have first-round talent. He just hadn't panned out here. But we send a guy who possibly wasn't even going to make this roster to Philadelphia, in exchange for a guy who just won a Super Bowl, had 6 interceptions in that Super Bowl run. That guy is nasty and physical. And we bring him and we add him to this ferocious defensive backfield already with Derek Stingley, Kamari Lassiter, Kalen Bullock, Jimmy Ward, Jalen Petrie. We bring this guy and we add that guy to an already ferocious defensive backfield. And those guys, I believe Kamari had 4 picks. I believe Derek Stingley had 5 picks. Those guys, that just between those two, that's 9 picks. And I believe Kalen Bullock had 5 himself. And then you bring a guy who brought 6 on his own on a Super Bowl champion team. He's a Super Bowl caliber player. This guy is coming to a team that's already deep in the defensive backfield. And he's going to just provide that extra spunk to this team. So, in a way, I believe the Houston Texans, we can say, quote unquote, fleece the Philadelphia Eagles, because when Philly get O-linemen, they seem to turn them guys into Pro Bowlers somehow, just like they took Brandon Brooks from us and that guy ended up being some type of Pro Bowler. So Philly has the people in place to turn Kenyon Green into a good offensive lineman. I believe the guy has all the natural talent, just needed a change of scenery. But the exchange for that guy, the Texans trade Kenyon Green in a 2026 5th-round pick, and we receive CJ Gardner-Johnson, and we also receive a 2026 6th-round pick. So that's the complete package that we send and that we receive from the Philadelphia Eagles. But I believe the Houston Texans, in their own way, did fleece the Philadelphia Eagles, but the Philadelphia Eagles was probably trying to get rid of CJ as well. H-Town. CJ is a firecracker, and CJ is going to bring that spunk to this defensive backfield, and I love it. H-Town. Now that the dust has settled on free agency and all the big-time names are off the board, and anybody of any sort of news are already on their teams, so now many teams are focusing their attention to the 2025 draft. And that's no different from your Houston Texans. And we have 7 picks in this year's draft. Round 1, 25th overall. Round 2, 58 overall. Round 3, 79th overall. Another round 3, 89th overall, which we received from the Washington Commanders in exchange for Laremy Tunsil and other picks. The 5th round, 167th overall. The 7th round, 238 overall. And the 7th round, 243 overall. And those are the 7 picks that the Houston Texans have in this year's draft. And we all know that Nick Caserio like to mix and match, move around, package picks, trade back, trade up, get more picks. So in the end, we don't know how many picks we will end up having. But right now, as it stands, we have 7 picks, 4 in the top 100. So we can get 4 capable players within the first 2 days. And I mean, Nick Caserio and head coach DeMeco Ryans have been seeming to hit on those guys. Even Nick Caserio as a general manager, man. 3rd round with the Christian Harris, man. 3rd round with Nico Collins, man. That 3rd round is a prime place that Nick Caserio seems to hit on, man. He finds those guys. Kalen Bullock, 3rd round. Kamari Lassiter, 2nd round. So we have 4 picks in the top 100, and Nick Caserio can use at his disposal. I mean, the dude is going to put some talent. Him and head coach DeMeco Ryans seem to be seamlessly coming together and just picking the team and putting this team together that head coach DeMeco Ryans want, man. And those guys work together. Those guys are like peanut butter and jelly, baby. They just go together. And like I said, which side of the ball with these 4 top 100 picks should the Houston Texans focus on? I believe we added more pieces. We re-signed guys. We brought guys back to the defense. We focused in free agency heavily in a lot on defense. So I think in these I say at least the first 3 picks. Whatever you do with the Washington Commanders 3rd round pick, you bring a defensive guy, okay. But the first 3 picks, in my opinion, should be an offensive player. And to me, like I say, the number 1 overall, the first overall pick, you can go offensive weapon, or you can go offensive tackle, offensive guard, the first 25th overall pick. But to me, my dream scenario, if Ashton Gentry fall to the 25th overall pick, I am flipping over the table. I am running that card down the table, and I'm telling everybody in the world, we want Ashton Gentry, and we're going to pair Ashton Gentry with my boy in that backfield, Joe Mixon. Excuse me. Joe Mixon and Ashton Gentry together, Oh my God. And I know a lot of people like, we got Dameon Pierce. Yeah, Dameon Pierce could be a great special teams and third back. Third back. I love what Ashton Gentry is. That is a first round guy. And he falls to the late first round. You get the 5th-year option on the guy, and you get a talented running back who can change the dimensions of this team just like a Saquon Barkley. That would be a nasty scenario for the Houston Texans. Also, like I say, I like, let me see, what's my guy? Emeka Egbuka. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but Emeka Egbuka, wide receiver from Ohio State. He played 2 years with CJ Stroud already. That guy is just a dog, and I believe he will fit on this team seamlessly with CJ Stroud and Nico Collins and the other guys. I know Tank Dell won't be back this season. We have to refocus our attention on this offensive group. We lost Stephon Diggs to free agency, so we have to add some guys. We did trade for Christian Kirk, but we have to add some guys that's going to be here for a while and that's going to be here on cheap rookie deals. If we choose not to go that way, another guy that I like, who's an offensive tackle, is Kevin Banks Jr. My bad, Kelvin. Your boy over here calling you Kevin. From the University of Texas. He's a left tackle, but he has position flexibility. He can also play guard. So if you choose, like if in camp, let's just say camp, Titus Howard is holding down the left spot, and our boy Fisher is holding down the right tackle spot, then you can bump him inside at one of the guard positions if he competes and wins that position. Or if he's just dominating at the left tackle position, then you can bump Titus Howard back into guard, the left guard position. However you want to go about it, it gives you option because he has position flexibility, and that's what Nick Caserio and head coach DeMeco Ryans like. They like guys who have position flexibility. So I like those guys that can bring something to the table. Those are the picks that I have, like with the first round, 25th overall pick. I haven't dug deep into the second and third round guys yet, but with that 25th overall pick, or if one of those guys or those tight ends or whoever slides down close to you and you might have to jump up 2, 3, 4, 5 picks, I would do the same thing for I would do the same thing for Gentry, man. I'm just saying. Ashton Gentry.
My bad for the mispronunciation. Ashton Gentry.
Man, if he's right there at that 20 mark and I'm sitting at 25, hey, I'm calling up the general manager. Hey, man, what's up? What you want to do, man? You want to move back? How you want this to work, man? You feel me? So I just think the Houston Texans, man, should leave their options open and bring a weapon offensively. With those first 3 picks, I will be looking for weapons. Even if you go Ashton in the first round, then you go look for a tackle/guard maybe in the second round, and then you go look for like a wide receiver in the third round because you didn't hit on multiple wide receivers in the third round. You didn't hit on Nico Collins. You didn't hit on Tank Dell. Both of those guys were in the third round. And like as I stated, even defensively, you hit on Christian Harris, even though he has to get healthy again. But that guy is just a beast and a natural athlete and has talent that shows up when he's healthy. So like I said, H-Town, it's on to draft season. Your boy is going to be bringing you who I think the Houston Texans should take a look at and bring in here, man. But I appreciate you guys joining me. It's been real, and peace.
Texas!
Put some respect on our name.